guys, my name is Preston from Autonatics, and I'm here with Street Car 101 Media. Today, I have Ryan here from Ringbrothers.
How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good to see you.
All right, Ryan. Good. I gotta ask you. I see a big pink Cuda.
Yeah.
With a lot of power.
Yes.
I need to know about this. I know it's a 70.
Yep, 70 Cuda.
Yep.
So I'll give you the rundown.
Yeah.
We'll start in the front. Yep. It's always a good spot to start, right?
Okay.
So 1970 Baer Cuda.
Yep.
Redeye powered, 807 horse, and it's a transaxle car.
Okay.
So that's pretty special. We did a transaxle in one other vehicle. That was Enyo that we had, that 48 Chevy Loadmaster we had here a couple years ago.
Yep.
That was a transaxle car, and then this is another one. We liked how that setup worked. We wanted to do it again. Roadster Shop chassis, they set it up to run that transaxle. C6 Corvette's what that comes out of.
Okay.
Mark Bowler hooked us up with the connection between the engine, right, which is Mopar, and the torque tube and transaxle, which is GM. So we have an adapter in there.
Interesting.
But it works so nice, and this car just drives and handles incredibly. The weight dispersion, I think we're under 50 pounds in all the corners from one another. Okay. So we're real even all the way around.
Was that on purpose as an intentional?
Yeah, we shoot for as even of weight displacement as we possibly can. Right?
Absolutely.
Having that transaxle in this car, that really helps with that because you're putting so much of the weight in the back. You just don't want to stack it up in one spot, but if you can get it real close to being dead
That's
even,
where you want to be.
We're super happy about that.
Is this car see road time, or is this only a show car?
No, I mean he's going to drive the heck out of this car.
Okay.
We just tested it. We got it finished up here right before SEMA.
Yep.
We tuned it, we wrapped it in PPF, did a little road test with it just to make sure we're all set.
Absolutely.
When we get back, that's when we're going to put it through the paces. Every car we build, before it goes to the customer, we want to drive it harder than they are ever going to.
Absolutely.
Reason for that, if something's going to fail, I just assume that it fail on me or one of us in the shop, and be a mile from the shop, and we can address it.
Yep.
We send a car. We have cars all over the world. If you have a car in Norway and there's a problem, like how do you deal with that, right? So we really want to drive these, make sure that they're set up for the customer and that nothing's going to go wrong on their end, and that all they'll ever have to do is just routine maintenance, right?
And you deal with all customers, no matter who they are, not just high-profile customers.
Right. Yeah, and we want to make that happen for everybody that we're working with, right?
Okay.
So I'll go back through the car here. So one of the things we did that's pretty cool on this, we one-pieced the grill. Normally that grill is 3 pieces. There's a split line right here, and this section would be removable. So we bonded all that together and made it one piece. The other thing, this trim here, this black piece of trim, that's stainless steel, and normally there's 6 individual pieces that make that up, and they do an overlap, and they don't fit very good. So we welded all those together, and we bonded that to that grill, and then machined in a part line so it still looks like the factory stainless trim, but it's actually part of that grill, and it's all one piece. We opened up the mouth on the valance down here in the front. We widened that out, and then we ran the return all the way back to the radiator. Air dam down below, hand fabricated in aluminum. The bumper, it's steel. It's started as the original Cuda bumper. We narrowed it, tucked it in, tightened up the gaps, get it to fit against everything else real nice. We narrowed these up here too. A lot of times the gaps on those are just ugly.
There are literally no gaps on this car at all. I do want to say that there are no gaps. This work is like top level, top tier.
Appreciate it. Everything under the hood that you are seeing is all sheet metal aluminum. So a lot of people think this is cast. That was all hand fabricated. That's all hand fabricated from sheet metal. Same as the valve covers. So they're actual covers that go over the coil packs, and there's all sorts of wiring, and it's nothing necessarily pretty. So we make these valve covers that cover all that up. Those are hand fabricated as well. The hood, carbon fiber hood. This was a custom hood made specifically for this car and designed for this car. So it's a one-of-one hood. Now that we have the design and the mold, we can reproduce it, of course. But this is the debut for this particular hood from Ringbrothers. We've got our Ringbrothers hood adjusters, Ringbrothers hinges, and then of course, just looking under here, I've heard the comment a number of times throughout the week that you can see that alone and know it's a Ringbrothers car, and that's real special to us, and that makes us feel good, right? That we have a kind of a style that people are recognizing, and they associate it with a level of quality that puts a smile on their face, and that makes us feel real good. So
now I have to ask, where did Pink Eye come from?
Oh yeah, so it's a Redeye motor.
Yep.
Okay, so you've got you got Hellcats, you got Elephants, you have all these. So Redeye is one of them. So that was in here, and as a matter of fact, when we made the valve covers, we had Redeye on it. Then we painted the car pink. And I believe it was Jim. He said, "Well, geez, we really ought to name it Pink Eye." Like, oh yeah, well, the valve covers are already done, like, you know. But then we gave it a little bit, and we thought about it, like, boy, it really does need to be named Pink Eye. So the car's named Infected. That's because of it's got pink eye, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, we made those, painted them out. You know, have a little fun with it. The Infected badge. There's one on the very back. We can walk around over there. I'll show you as long as we're talking about it, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So this Infected badge, we did something kind of special with that on the 70 Cudas. Back here on the taillight panel, it had an apostrophe and then the word Cuda. That was the badging. So this is that apostrophe turned on its side, and then we laid in the name of the car. So it was just kind of a nod back to
that is really cool,
to the original 70 Cuda. So
even the trunk is completely finished.
Did a few things kind of special back here. One with this spoiler. So this is a AAR spoiler, but they were originally a lot more bulbous, a lot more round. None of these edges were sharp. They were kind of bubbly. We didn't really like that, so we sharpened up all these edges, refined these corners. The gaps, frankly, they sucked. It didn't fit the deck lid very nice. And these bolster sections, here and here, there was 3 of them. One in the middle, and then there was one about like here and here or so. We lopped them off and we moved them out so that they would line directly up with the bumperettes down there on the rear bumper. So you have a straight line between it. They looked so weird offset before, you know.
It's the little attention to detail that I'm noticing as you talk about this car. This is really thought through.
Thank you. You know, we try to do that on every build. You know, the core part of the build, that gets done, right? No matter what you're doing, you got to build a firewall, and you have to build floors and wheel tubs and all these things, and you have to put the drivetrain in. You get that core part of the build done in the manner that you have to on every build, and then after that, you can start thinking about these little tie-ins and not just stuff like the badging, but you know, the bumperettes and the spoiler. Like, that was done. The car was painted when we did that, right? Like, it's done, and you stand back and you're like, it needs a spoiler. All right. So we get a spoiler on there, like, these need to be in line with the bumperettes, and you start, you know, changing that. And actually, we built so the bumperettes we hand fabricated, and that's the second set we did. The first set we had them on there, and it's one of those things, and they were chromed and done and installed. And we're standing back and just kind of giving it a look, and there's something off about it. So, like, if there's something off about it, let's redo it. You
Absolutely.
know? We rounded them out a little bit more and kind of gave it a little bit different shape, made it a little bit smaller. In the trunk, so behind these panels, these aluminum panels, these are our Ringbrothers hood trunk hinges, by the way, in airframe.
Similar to the ones that's up front as well.
And match out to the ones in the front. So these panels here, those pop out, and then you have access to battery, your inertia switch, e-brake, amplifiers, subs, all that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
All tucked in behind there. The battery on this one is right behind there, and you can get to all that nice and tidy.
It's all hidden. It's tucked away. All you literally see is engine and space.
Right.
That is beautiful.
One of the other little things we did on this car that's kind of neat, and people that have Cudas pick up on it. So this trim around the window, normally you would have corner piece across, corner piece across. It's like 4 pieces. We welded that all together, sanded it out smooth, and one pieced it, so you don't have those seams. It's a little bit of a bear getting it in there, but once it's in, it's seamless. It looks great. Another thing Cuda guys will notice on these door handles, they originally had a split right here, and then the key went in on the left side, and just the far side is what you actually use to open the door. We got rid of that, put a keyless entry in the car, and then now it's the whole thing lines up.
Cool.
PT Cruiser latches. It just makes it feel like a brand new car when you're open. You know, a 70 car doesn't sound like that when you close the door.
Does not.
Right?
It's not.
But with the PT Cruiser latches, and then we sound deaden. We usually Dynamat and Dynaliner on the inside of the doors, and of course our leather panels and whatnot. It helps with that. But primarily those latches really make a difference on shutting the door. So interior wise, stock dash. but recovered, of course. Kind of redefined these lines, put that seam in there, and just restyled it a little bit. Steve Pearson, that does our interior, did an amazing job with it. The gauges, Dakota Digital, carbon fiber inlay on the dash, and that dash, same as the grill, normally it'd be 2 pieces. There's a seam, you had your instrument cluster, and then a seam, and then your switches, and those were 2 separate pieces. We wanted to 1-piece it, so we did. It's in carbon fiber, true carbon fiber, so we laid it up and laid those bezels in and everything. 6-speed, that torque tube comes right through that custom built console. That's all aluminum, then wrapped in steel. In the back, that big hump out there, that's where that transaxle sits. And then on either side, what looked like tubs, and then they kind of step out and down. So there's custom built sub boxes in there underneath those covers.
No way. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
This has a really, really great stereo in it. We fired it up for the owner right after we did the reveal, and he was all smiles when he heard it. I mean, it thumps. I want to take you around to the driver's side and open up the door and show you something.
Yes.
I'm going to pop the trunk again, turn the power on, and I'll show you something up there that's real neat.
All right.
So, every tack has a red line, right? If you look at this one, you can get on in here. It doesn't have a red line, it has a pink line. So at 6,500, that tack it's all pink to match out the car. And that was something that Dakota Digital did. We actually didn't even know about till we fired it up and like, oh, that's smart, that's cool. But yeah, they put together a great set of gauges for us, and that pink line that really made me smile.
Original cluster minus the digital.
Yeah, we made these bezels. Those are steel and then chrome plated, but it is the original cluster. And like I said, we just laid carbon over, 1-pieced it. Yep. And then on the steering wheel, this is one of our Ringbrothers steering wheels, carbon fiber weave with our billet center, and it's got the American flag and the RB horn button. Those are 3D printed in stainless steel. We've got 3 different kinds of steering wheels that are available. They go with an IDITA column or a stock column. They're a really neat piece that we're super happy to be showing everybody. And when we do these builds, the thing that we try to look for with every car that we do, especially one that we haven't done before. So we hadn't done a Cuda, right?
Okay.
So something that's important to us when we're doing a car that we haven't built before is how can we innovate? How can we make the parts that we're putting on this car better? Kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit and not lose what makes it a Cuda, right?
Exactly.
And we want to be able to say those door handles, they fit the stock opening. We didn't make them smaller or bigger. We made them fit the stock opening so that we can sell those to anybody with a Cuda and they can switch them out if they like.
That's smart. That was really smart.
Same with like the hood, for instance, right? That opening between the fenders is the same. It's the same length. Nothing changed there, so it would bolt up on your car. And speaking of the fenders, the one thing I didn't mention before is we moved the wheelbase ahead 1.5 inches. Okay. So what that does, these cars in the 70s, they were pretty nose heavy. And especially like the Chargers. The Cuda's not as much, but the Charger for sure. Like
absolutely.
You had tires and then way out here at the front of the car. So on the Charger we did last year, Tusk, we moved that wheelbase ahead 3 inches. On this one we did 1.5 inches because we didn't need that much. But we wanted that kind of bulldog, little aggressive stance visually. Aside from the visual aesthetics, having that wheelbase extended helps the handling of the car immensely, right? We're getting the engine back behind the center of that wheel, and it looks right. And that's first and foremost, it needs to function properly and function to the utmost that it can. And then after that, we need to make it look good. So that's what we focus on first is functionality, and then make it pretty. It has to be both, So that's our 70 Cuda. Got any questions? Anything?
Was this color spec what the client wanted, or was this kind of like a surprise meal?
He did not know. We called him up and told him his car's pink, and he what? So it took a little. He wasn't sure. Even up until we did the reveal, he wasn't sure. Pulled the cover, and wasn't sure. Liked it, but wasn't sure. And then he got in here, and then big smile, and and they're just looking at it and was like, all right. I personally, I love it. As soon as we came out with that color, Mike mixed it up. So what he did is he took the Panther Pink, the Mopar color from the 70, and just messed with it a little bit, refined it, brightened it up. You can see, it's a little richer. It's got a little magenta in there. And what's fun is when you get it outside, when the sun hits it, it's hot pink. But down on the sides, you get more of a purple, kind of a magenta vibe, and it's just a really neat color. And yeah, the customer, it took him just a moment, but yeah, he warmed up to it. He really liked it. But yeah, it was something that once we saw it, like it can't be any other color. Like, and especially now, like really now that you've seen it like this, now imagine this car green.
I couldn't at this point.
It has to be pink.
It does.
Right? With the white interior.
And the white. There you go. That's where I was going to go next. That white interior is beautiful.
And speaking of that, I want to show you something here. So we worked really close with the guys at Viper Chair.
Yep.
They're in Wisconsin too. So for the SEMA show, they made these 4 Viper stools for us. White leather, black trim, pink stitching. That's to be here in the Ringbrothers booth with the pink, white, and black Cuda. So props to Viper Chair for hooking us up. And I hope you like the car. I'm glad you came by and talked about it.
Absolutely. I thank you for walking me through this car. Obviously, you put a lot of attention on detail. The car probably sounds amazing as well.
Yeah, I wish we could start it for you.
You know what? You got a Hellcrate in there. I already know that the car sounds amazing.
Right.
You know, 807 horsepower.
Yes, sir.
20s?
Yeah, 21 and 20.
21 and 20 HREs.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I noticed walking up is the HRE rim.
Yeah, we love working with HRE. You know, we've got them. So we brought 3 cars this year, and we have HREs on each one of those. We run those on every car we do. One exception being the Rolls Royce, but on every other car we do, including some of our own personal cars. We've got HREs on them because they're amazing wheels. They look awesome, and they're
absolutely
a great group of guys.
Absolutely does. And you guys get one-off wheels with HRE.
Yeah.
So there you go. Ringbrothers did this car completely proper. This is a Cuda that anybody will drive right here. It has muscle. It has looks. Just aesthetically, this car is very pleasing on the eyes. The car is called Pink Eye Infected. This is an amazing looking car. Good job.
Preston, thank you so much.
Good job. This is beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.